Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I did everything I needed to do. I think I'll keep it local today. Just gonna go down to the local Target, come back. I've been in a nice groove as it pertains to my art. I've been knocking out playlist art, as I mentioned recently. I had done a few playlists that had backed up, so pretty much every day for the last 4 days I've been kind of able to just address it and knock out them, get some art going. It's been a good art week for me, so yeah, that was the highlight for me. I've been doing pretty good, working on my portions as it pertains to my morning meal. Cut that pretty much in half. Finally found a sweet medium for myself, because what I've been doing is pouring too much in there and not finishing the bowl, so I end up throwing it out halfway through anyway. So it's like, yo, at some point in time you got to figure out where you're going wrong here. Stop giving yourself too much food. And so that's been a thing. I've been definitely doing better there and enjoying all the draft stuff. The NBA draft has now come and went. I was pretty pleased with ultimately everything that happened with my team. We did good for the most part. So now we get ready for the Summer League 2 weeks from now. And, you know, just for me, I'm getting ready to move on from this room on Tuesday. Today is what, Friday, I think? Thursday? I think it's Thursday. Yeah, it's Thursday. So, you know, just kind of preparing for that. I got this transaction that's supposed to be taking place for my cell phone bill. It's so expensive because it's all the late fees and stuff that's piling up. So that's supposed to come out today. The money should be ready to go. I had it transferred over, so hopefully it'll be ready to move when they ask for it. And then, you know, just trying to maintain, man. I've been really good at being productive. The week that I wanted to have 2 weeks ago, as it pertains to when I was backed up all those playlists, needed to do art for them, and stayed home and wanted to do art but couldn't motivate myself to, is the week I just had right now. All right, I was much more motivated. I was much more disciplined, and got it all done. I did speak to somebody over at the Koreatown clinic that I go to for my therapy. They did like an exit interview type thing, and he gave me the number of the person I'm supposed to call to receive my next therapist, my assignment. So I got to call that number. I haven't done it yet, but that's something I want to do probably today or tomorrow. And another thing I did that I was pleased with is get up at a reasonable hour this morning. In the last couple of days, I've been going to sleep late and waking up late. So last night I went to sleep very late. I didn't get to sleep till like 2:30, 3 o'clock. But I made sure I was out of bed by 9:30 this morning. So I'm starting my day off earlier than I had been recently. So I'm very pleased with that. So, yeah, man, it's a lot of good things as it pertains to just discipline and consistency this week. I feel like I'm doing better in a lot of areas, not eating as bad. I did get myself one of those salmon burritos yesterday, but I didn't buy any Mexican food and stuff like that. So just, you know, trying to discipline myself a little better, just getting sharp in the areas of need. Try to, you know, work that conditioning into what it needs to be, so that, you know, I can carry forward those habits. So yeah, man, I had an interesting dream last night, man. Definitely one I hadn't, you know, something that I hadn't experienced before. It was weird because I was in this room just lounging. It felt like I was in somebody's kickback or something a long time ago, and there was this it was a paper, like a magazine, but it was like some type of magic dispensary that pushed out weed edibles. So when you touch a certain page, you can pick which type of weed edible you want, and as you touch the page, it would pop out of the paper. And so I ended up choosing one and taking it in the dream. And as the high started kicking in, my dad appeared. He was like next to me. And my father literally was there. And he passed away back in 2016, the same year my mom died. But usually when I have dreams about my parents, I'm not in control. A lot of times when I dream about my mom, I'm arguing. Stupid stuff like that. Yeah, I don't ever have these pleasant dreams where I'm having a conversation with them that I can recall after I wake up. This was the first time where I actually had a conversation with my dad in a dream where I felt under control, asking him legitimate questions and listening to him answer to. and we were talking about the genocide. It was almost like it was like he appeared, and then the conversation was a continuation of as if it had, like I had turned on a movie and they were already talking. It was weird, but it was like I was telling him, like, over the last 3 years what I had seen. I remember saying distinctively to him, and it was my consciousness actually speaking to him, essentially saying, you know, I would never disrespect you by telling you all of what I've seen when everything that I'm seeing is in my phone. This ain't me actually seeing this in real life. You served in the Navy. You been out in the field, so you seen things I haven't seen, just like Vernon and my little brother. Y'all actually been in the field, so I'm not gonna be calling you or little Vern essentially telling y'all all about the horrors that I've seen when I ain't been out there like y'all too. But I was like, but Dad, the things that I have seen, you know, it's messed with me. Like, this is really messed with my brain. Like, I'm not the same after seeing what I've seen over the last 3 years in this genocide. And I remember I was telling him that, I was like, you know, that's what I wanted to say. Like, I remember then, like, saying, I gotta ask you, like, is it normal? Is it normal for people to be attacking people's children in warfare? Is that normal? I was asking him, like, I know you served, I know you've been out there to whatever degree. Is what I'm seeing really normal? Like, is that how y'all really operate without us knowing it? Like, this is like normal? And he was essentially saying, no, we would kill men, but we would not harm their children because you didn't want them coming back killing your children. That's exactly what my dad said. He was like, nah, we battled, but we respected family. We respected family. And he said it in that exact way. We would never kill each other's children because we'd be afraid of the retaliation of y'all, them targeting my children, is what, paraphrasing what my dad was saying. And I was like, he was like, man, I was like, I've seen so much of this stuff, it's almost like it's made normal in my times now. And this genocide and what I've seen with this, it's been made normal. And then I recalled a different part of the dream that had happened prior to me opening up the little dispensary thing. It was like I was sitting in this room with a bunch of people. I think that's why I wanted to get high, because I was stressed out about the group therapy session that I guess I was in prior to that moment. And then I was in there with somebody who, they were talking about the genocide. And essentially what they were saying was a bunch of different people from all different walks of life. And one of the people who was talking was a person who had propped up an Israeli flag out of their backpack, or sort of like I used to do with the Laker flag. I never did this on camera, but back in the day when Lakers won championships, I had the big old flag, and I would put the handle down the back of my shirt so the flag would flow in the wind as I walked. And they were doing that with the Israeli flag. They had it blowing behind them, but they were essentially saying that it breaks their heart that the conflict is going the way that it is, that it's so sad that so much warfare is taking place. But they worded it in a way that didn't acknowledge it to be the genocide. Sort of like I hear some of these politicians do when they try to pander to people on this side of the conversation. It's like, yo, if only Hamas wouldn't have targeted us on October 7th, there wouldn't be so many innocent people being killed. It's the gaslighting, you know. That's essentially what that person was doing. They were saying, my heart is broken because of the conflict, as they're waving the Israeli flag. And I just remember feeling so stressed out, letting them speak, not interrupting them, but saying, this ain't no damn conflict, this is genocide. Didn't get a chance to say that. Ended the conversation, stressed out, opened up the bag, the paper, got my little dispensary discharge or whatever, popped it in my mouth, and then my dad popped up. That's exactly the sequence of how that went. And so I recalled within the dream, as I'm talking to my dad, that person that was waving the flag, and I was telling him, they got this person up here acting like this is anything less than mass murder. You know what I mean? I was like, this hypocrisy is infuriating. You know, I was saying to my father, and I think he asked me a question. I was like, how many? He was like, how many have you seen? Because I told him, I was like, I've seen too many dead bodies for this bull. That's essentially what I was telling my dad in regards to them people whoever that was with the flag. I ain't seen too many dead bodies play games with these type of people. That's what I was telling him. And he said, how much have you seen? And I said, thousands. And his mouth dropped and his face dropped. He said, thousands? I said, I've seen thousands of children dead, Dad. Thousands. In a 3-year period, I've seen thousands. And I woke up. As soon as his reaction, he was like, thousands? And he woke up. And I woke up, rather. That's how the dream went. I added a lot more words to it than what was necessary, but that's really how it went. I was like, I didn't see too many dead children for this hypocrisy, this bullcrap that this person doing, for what these people doing. I didn't see too much. And then I woke up saying, I don't know. I never counted. You know what I'm saying? I said thousands with such certainty. I don't actually know how many people I've seen dead, really, if I'm being honest. But I think the purpose was for him to understand, like, has been thousands of children that have died. Thousands of children that have died. Not to say that I've laid eyes on all of them, but I definitely lost count. I've definitely lost count. And it was just such a shock in his eyes, and such a deflated look on his face, like he can't believe that this has happened since he's passed. You know, that was kind of what it is. Like, he can't believe that that's what's going on, and that's what is basically visible for all of us to see. You know, so I thought that was one of the more powerful dreams I've ever had. Just sitting down with my father and being able to vent to him in a way that I really haven't had a chance to really vent with anybody. I spoke with my sister, his daughter, Sonia, before we stopped talking a little bit about what it is I've seen, but nobody else in my life, no one in my life I've been able to actually sit down and say this to. I say it to you guys all the time. My channel, I talk to people in my channel about this, but I ain't talk to Lydia about this. I don't talk to my friend T about this. I definitely don't mention it with my uncle. It's not something that I feel comfortable talking to literally anybody in my life about, because I don't want to have any conversations that are going to offend me. If I'm being completely honest with you. Now, my uncle, he may not share my views. You know what I mean? He may not. I understand that he's been to Israel. He and his wife been. You know, they're from the military. So it's like, I don't know what the hell, you know what I mean? I really don't know. And I don't want people to fall out with me or to fall out with people over something like this. It's so stupid, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, my position is my position. I know I'm on the right side of history with this. I use my voice and that's it. But trying to convince other people in your life around you, that's not something I'm up for. I'm just not up for it. Call me a coward, but I don't want to have these conversations with people that I care about for concern that they're going to say something that's going to make me not want to, like, communicate or whatever. Sad, but it's true, man. That's how divided America is when it comes to this Israel conversation. For those of y'all who are outside of America, a lot of us, we really don't know who feels what around us until people take a stance. And people are so passionate about the conversation. Zionists are equally as passionate and aggressive about their position as non-Zionists are about theirs. It is true. People will want to fight you and kill you over this conversation. It is that real, and it's only getting realer. And it's just, you know, as I prayed about it yesterday morning, I think that's one of the reasons why I had the dream I had, is because I had a prayer yesterday. I was telling God in the shower, like, just because I'm enjoying my pastimes with this draft going on, everything I've been preparing for in my personal life has been about the draft. On the morning of the draft, I'm thinking about the genocide, because when I went to sleep last night, the night before last, rather, I saw more bodies. The last thing I saw before I went to sleep was bodies the night before. I had this dream. Like, just going on Instagram and just seeing the carnage, man. Israel has killed 1,000 children since they announced the latest ceasefire. Like, they are actively slaughtering little ones, man. Since the last time I told y'all about that kid that man was carrying with the head destroyed, I done seen at least 4 or 5 dead bodies since then, of all children. That's why when people, that's why it's such a vehement conversation. It's a violent conversation because what you have is people who are fighting against this and people who are adamant about it being done. And it's such a nasty thing to even consider. But Zionists, they're so vehement about just having whatever they want happen and controlling everybody else's opinion on the conversation. And what they want to have happen is more of this. So it's not a conversation that you just have. You might have to fight and kill to have this conversation going forward. And I respect that greatly. I really respect that and the sensitivity of that. So it's like, for me, I don't want to have this conversation with people around me. I'd rather have it in my own personal spaces, on camera. If you want to see what I have to say, check out my channel. All of my family members, all of my friends, y'all all have my channel. Y'all know what I be talking about on here if you follow me, but you never bring it to me, and I respect that. Because I don't think people want to have these conversations. Just like I don't really want to have these conversations. It's nasty, man. These people are slaughtering innocent individuals on purpose so that they can secure land. It's a nasty practice. It was nasty when it was done in previous generations, and it's disgusting now. The difference is the common public has the footage. We're able to see it. And it changes the game a lot. It changed the game a whole lot, man. And so that's really what it comes down to. My dad was surprised. I'm sure he wasn't surprised to see people slaughtered, but he is surprised that a random civilian's able to see so much of it. I think that's what the sentiment was. Do I think my dad would be surprised to see a genocide taking place? Hell no. Do I think my dad would be surprised to see civilians being able to say they're witnesses to it? Hell yeah. Because that's the difference. That is literally the difference. If you're not being slaughtered in a genocide, you're probably nowhere near it. But that's changed now, man. Unfortunately, it's actually fortunate. It's not unfortunate. It's very fortunate. Because that's what you want, is witnesses to such crimes. And that's why people are able to get away with stuff like that, because the only people who are there are the people dying. The only people who are actually able to see it are the people having it pointed at them. And that's over with. Is this the worst genocide of all time? No. No, millions of people died. 1 million people died in the Congolese genocide, from what I understand. Millions of people died in different genocides. The Armenian genocide, a lot of people died. The numbers have not been properly accounted for with this Palestinian genocide, but this ain't the biggest one. This is just the first one that people have actually been able to witness, who weren't being slaughtered by it. And so that's what I'm here to say. I don't believe my dad would be surprised. I believe he would know all about that type of stuff, being a naval officer in the 50s. Just like my grandfather probably wasn't surprised. He passed away after it had started. I don't know how much of that he was able to see or know of. But soldiers know, man. My brother was out there in the sandbox, so to speak. I don't know how much my brother did. The more I learn about some of these wars, quote unquote wars, that America was engaging in, a lot of them they weren't. I'm learning that the Gulf War was a genocide. They were killing innocent people a lot of the times. They were mistreating people. Some soldiers was out there, they was killing them, but they was killing kids too. They was killing entire families of people. That's why it's such a disconnect for a lot of us as Americans who are paying attention to this. We don't understand, how is it made normal that people can go off and do this and then come incorporate themselves back into the common world? Why is it that I can know that a person is an IDF soldier and the missions that they've been engaging in is basically taking out children, and then to see them somewhere next to me shopping at the grocery store? The disconnect is that this has always been made normal, that your family members probably doing the same shit. You just weren't aware of it. And it's your brothers and your sisters coming back with PTSD. It wasn't just because they was killing insurgents. A lot of them people who came back with these sick, brain-twisted ass complexes, it was not because they were seeing their fellow man, their comrades die or insurgents die. It's because of the innocent people that they witnessed or killed messed their brains up. And you can see that behavior with the IDF soldiers right now. They coming back home screwed up. Half of them, killing themselves. They ain't killing themselves because they were engaging in common battle with people who were shooting back at them. They going crazy because they did evil stuff out there. Evil stuff as demonstrations to promote fear. Killing innocent people, R-wording people. They was doing evil stuff. Then they come back into our environment. That's what I've come to know. As more and more information comes out about what happened in the Middle East, as more and more conversations are being had with Middle Eastern people, to where we didn't have this kind of communication before. Now I could talk to somebody who was dealing with American soldiers during the Gulf War. They'll tell you that dude did such and such. This person killed this person. That was a 13-year-old child was killed when they came rushing in the door, spraying everything. Food still left on the table. There wasn't IDF soldiers doing that shit. It was our soldiers doing that shit. And then they come back home. Just like IDF soldiers come back home. And they're looking at us like, why are you confused that people that were coming back home from war after doing horrible things? Soldiers always come back home from war after doing horrible things. It's just you didn't know it. And so that's what's I'm come to realize, man. When you live in a colonial Western society that is built on slaughtering innocent people, those behaviors don't stop. They just hide them from the people who benefit the most from all of it. They don't want you to see any of this. They propagandize your mind away from even asking if any of this happened. They hide all of this from you so that you'll keep on doing what it is you do and won't grow a bleeding heart for any of the stuff that they towing. They don't want you to stop them. They don't want you to have some heart for this stuff. The Zionists ruined that for the West because they did all of that evil shit they do out loud, on camera, and then would have rhetoric that wouldn't back the narrative in different spots. One person saying we ain't doing a genocide, another person saying we got to kill all of them, men, women, and children. It's like they went off script. That's the reality of it. They went off script. Zionists went off script. This ain't weird behavior as it pertains to everything that the West has always done. It's just that now you got this faction of individuals who are not careful to hide it from anybody. They don't care to hide it from anybody. They want you to know for whatever their own reasons. They're ripping the Band-Aid off of all of it, and they're saying we're proud of it. And they're waiting for the consequences of that. And that is exactly what I think my father was surprised about. Bdf 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.